using your thumb or something like that, so that at least I know there is some response from your side, right? I believe that like most of your students here who are a part of this session, how many of you know what the four revolutions that is, this is the fourth industrial revolution that we are all living in, correct? So the first revolution talks about mechanization, steam power, all that, and second we focus mostly on the mass production, and third automation, computers like which we lived until 90s and all that. The present industrial revolution that we are living in is basically focused on AI, IoT, network, and all this stuff, correct? But when we also see from the job market or revolution point of view, we see that we are in the space where we are more job creators than job providers. Sorry, job seekers. Correct? You all agree with
Yes,
me
madam.
on that?
Yes, madam.
So I need some response, otherwise I'll not be able to, speak. I guess. So it'll be helpful if you can unmute yourself and then speak. That will be very helpful. Okay.
Yes, madam.
So that was, thank you. So that was more about the industrial revolution that we have seen. But when it comes to innovation ecosystem, many of you know that innovations happens in the laboratories. But now innovation is not limited to laboratories, not research institutions only. But I'll give you a few examples in the same slides, so then you'll understand why innovation is not just limited to research institutions or to the laboratories. Correct? So if we see in a very generic sense, what is innovation ecosystem? It has colleges and universities, mostly which talks about human resource availability and the skilled, resource. Industry, which has the, the requirement, or even for that matter, the equipments that are available, who give solutions to the problems. Then you have a government uh, engine, which actually comes up with the policies, um, rules, regulations, and how do we run the business and all that. Investment and funding, because that's the key for any startup to kickstart, like the funding, the money that is required to, test your idea of business. And of course, the non-governmental organizations who are involved in executing the project. So this is the, in a very small nutshell, I would say this is an innovation ecosystem that we can relate to. Then coming to POC, so many of us have a question. When we start developing a product or service or maybe an innovation, then we think what is the difference between proof of concept, prototype, MVP? So they all look different terminologies to us. Proof of concept is basically this is a feasible solution. It's like you test that concept when you have an idea in your mind. You just think that is it the right solution or no? Is it the feasible solution or no? So that is what is called a proof of concept. And then once you have the proof of concept means like you have customers like who think that this is a good solution. Then you go to a prototype level where you build a product or service, so you test it. This is how you will build it, and this is how you will be used. So that's where you do the testing. And when it comes to MVP stage, this is where you should be able to build. This will be a viable one. So you have a market-ready product type, and then it gets into the market. There's a small, differentiation between proof and also the stages that I would say. Coming to Telangana State Innovation Cell, so Telangana has a very vibrant innovation ecosystem. So if you see, these are the organizations which are formed under IT department under the able leadership of Mr. KTR Garu and Dr. Jayesh Ranjan Garu. So these are the two people who are actually instrumental in setting up these institutions, and we also see how we are going to help the startups or the people who come forward with the ideas. Brief about each organization. T-Hub, you all know, recently inaugurated, and which focuses on tech startups. The whole idea is how do we empower startups to scale faster and create business value. They also closely work with corporations to elevate innovations for corporations, and they build a culture of innovation to keep their partners get going. They're ahead of like the existing ecosystem. When it comes to TSIC, we are the first response to the state government who work closely with the innovators and startups. And our mandate is to work with 33 districts. So we want to diffuse the innovation culture in the entire state of Telangana, right from school stage. So I'll give you some examples. You'll understand what kind of innovation we at TSIC do. We have focused on women entrepreneurship. TWorks is a India's largest
ప్రింట్
prototyping
స్క్రీన్ తీసుకొని
center.
సేవ్
So the
చేస్తున్నావా
whole idea is
రికార్డింగ్
to
చేస్తున్నా ప్రింట్
reduce
స్క్రీన్
that
తీసుకోవాలి
time gap which
ప్రింట్
takes
స్క్రీన్ తీసుకొని
from an
అది
idea
వర్డ్
to
ఫైల్లో
a
పేజ్
prototype. So they have resources
అది నాకు
available.
పంపించి
They
అయిపోయిన
have
తర్వాత
every machine available to make the product ready in their space, basically. So it is going to get inaugurated in next month or so. So Rich is another organization under IT department, which is called Research and Innovation Circle of Hyderabad, which facilitates taking research to market. So, for example, there are so many research institutions you have, so they could closely work with them. They take their idea and they ensure how they create the market for them. They also focus on IP as well. So Task is basically an organization. Maybe you may also have associated with Task, which focuses on skill development. The they focus on understanding what are the present skills required by the industry, and they train the students while they are in the college, and they provide placement. So that's where Task works. And of course, emerging technologies which focus on blockchain, IoT, and all this. This is a brief about Telangana innovation ecosystem. So why I'm telling you all this? Because you have an opportunity to thrive in this innovation ecosystem. If you have an idea, you have every organization who can come together to help you and bring your idea into reality. So what TSIC does, this is our vision. We want to build a culture of, not just the culture of innovation across Telangana and becoming the go-to destination of the ecosystem. So we have three mandates only. The first mandate, like we want to build the culture of innovation right from the school age. So we see school students are very sensitive towards the problems because they are very curious. They are not, they don't have any fear towards failures. So that's where we want to catch them at their early stage and build that critical thinking or creativity among them, where they become more sensitive towards the problems and come with innovative ideas. So we have School Innovation Challenge. There are plenty other programs that we run under the first mandate. And second mandate is very broad, tells to promote culture of innovation across Telangana. Here, we closely work with grassroots innovators. I'll show you a couple of examples again so you'll understand. Without any educational background, people are actually building solutions for the problems of the society. So it's the right time for us, all of you also to think, what is that stopping me from innovating? So that is something you should be really thinking about. So we closely work with grassroots innovators, identifying them, recognizing them, providing them a platform, funding connections, market connections. That's where I head at this point of time. And third, very important mandate is government and administration. You all know that there is a gap between startup and government, right? So government do not understand the, what do you call the culture of innovation. They don't know what is innovation, what is startup language, and all that. So here, what we do, we sensitize government officials about what is innovation, what is startup ecosystem, in case if there is any product that is applicable to any government department, so we try to they try to procure the product from the startup. So we facilitate that particular process also. We call it as a government startup connect, and procurement happens through a few of our programs. And how do we do? So you must be thinking, we are at TSIC maybe a team of 50 people or maybe some 40 people, right? Not really. We are a team of, 7 to 8 people who work on this big mission of spreading innovation culture in the entire state of Telangana. But how do we do this? We do this through partnerships. We have a very active partners who are associated right from colleges to the incubators to the government institutions and district administrations. We partner with every organization to see how we can help and support these innovators coming, going through this entire process of innovator to entrepreneur, right? So that's what we do through partnerships. And then a few examples I would like to quickly take you through. Of course, it won't take much time. Shanmukh, is my screen visible? Yeah. So Shanmugh Rao is a serial innovator. He has six innovations in his name. He's a mechanic. He calls himself as a grassroots innovator. Only. He's doing innovation since almost 2014, if I'm not wrong. So one of his example I would like to quote here: semi-automated weeding machine. So they have invented the present weeders that we have in the market are somewhere close to 80,000 and 1 lakh or so. So he made this weeder which is in the form of a cycle which removes the weeds from the farm and which is costing only 35,000. So that's how he innovates, and he has many such innovations he has done. And presently, he's incubated at IIT Hyderabad. You must be thinking a grassroots innovator who doesn't know how to speak English, how can he be incubated in IIT Hyderabad, right? So this is what is possible, and this is what is the kind of associations or connections or partnerships that we as a TSIC do. So he's also serial like we do this Intinta Innovator exhibition every year on 15th of August, and continuously since 4 years he is one of the innovator who is getting award every year. So that means every year he innovates new innovations and gets award. And you must be saying, ma'am, we are all busy with our studies. We don't have time to innovate. We don't have time to do all our stuff. We are very focused on studies and all, right? Especially the students. But can you see she's a girl, a student, a 10th grade student right now. She recently topped her school and she got a free education scholarship until her, either if she want to do engineering or medicine, her entire education is sponsored. So this girl is actually from Gadwal district. One, she's studying in that PHS, which is basically a government school in Chintalkunta village. While she was planting, saplings, and then she saw we all use black plastic, kada? Nurseries. So we have seen, right? So they use black polythene covers to plant or to grow nursery in small plants. So she came up with an idea: can this plastic be repelled? Because of plastic, there's a lot of problem with the environment get effects and all that. So in her area, you must be knowing about groundnut shells. So using that husk, she basically made these pots, and of course she added a few ingredients as few ingredients as binders basically, and she made this pot. It was a student idea. You must be saying, ఇదేముంది మేడం ఇది చిన్న ఐడియానే కదా and all that. But today, after 2 years, she's setting up a company in Gadwal district. Chief Minister office. You all know Haritaharam, right? So the objective of Haritaharam is to plant more trees in the entire state of Telangana. సో సీఎంఓ ఆఫీస్ నుండి తనకి గద్వాల్లో ఒక మండల్ కంప్లీట్గా ప్లాస్టిక్ ఫ్రీ చేసేదానికి తనకి ఆర్డర్ వచ్చింది. అండ్ షీ ఫార్మ్డ్ ఎ కంపెనీ by name of Srija Green Galaxy, and her mother and her aunt are the partners because she's a minor. She don't have rights to form a company, and she employed 5 women, and she's providing employment to 5 women, and she's just set up this. Now tell me what is stopping you from innovating, right? What is stopping you from becoming an entrepreneur? And until we complain, there's nothing we can start. So we should always believe in complaint starts with A and solution starts with I. Always you should believe in you and how you can innovate. And she believed in herself and the kind of idea she wanted to bring in, and that's how she innovated. And she got funding also from the two of the institutions, AgHub and SRIX. And presently her idea is getting patented also. Tomorrow, if anybody want to replicate it, it is protected basically. So this is the kind of examples I want to show. And Ashok Gore is from Nalgonda. He's again a serial innovator student. It may look very easy. See, he himself is a farmer. His parents are farmers. So when he see his parents, struggling hard for sowing, one simple example is this looks very small and simple, correct? This particular, instrument that you are seeing will take minimum of four half a day. I would say half a day to complete 1 acre of land for sowing purpose, seed sowing. But otherwise, it is very difficult to find laborers. First problem. Second problem, they have to bend themselves and sow the seed, right? But this machine can actually solve the drudgery of farmers. So he becomes very sensitive towards the problems of the farmers and he brings solutions to those problems. And he right now has 7 innovations in his name. So what we do as TSIC, we scout them, we connect them to a few organizations like TWorks, AGAB and these incubators. TWorks is helping him build the prototype and help him build the final product. And we facilitate all these communications and all that and would like to close with this, small story. He's again Deepak Reddy, he's an engineering graduate again. He basically is from Sangareddy district. So you must be knowing farmlo రాళ్ళు ఉంటాయి కదా. So for farmers it is very difficult to actually remove those stones. And this he invented a machine which can actually remove those stones and make that land as a cultivable basically. And presently he got selected for it is that 50 lakh grant also. So that is the stories that we have. These are very few stories I wanted to mention. So this is a call to all the students who are a part of the session today. You have a great opportunity in Telangana, especially. If you go to AP, I don't know what kind of support that they have. I am not comparing any states though, but what we have, please make use of the facilities, resources, and all that. So it is basically covering like mentorship is what TSIC focuses on. Connecting them to the different partners is what TSIC focuses on. So it's a call to all of you. If you have an innovative idea, you should speak to your faculties about it, understand, take the inputs, and we will be happy to support you at TSIC. Would like to take one or two questions if time permits. Otherwise, thank you so much, Mr. Reddy Garu, for this opportunity. It was, great talking to all of you about what we as TSIC do. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Very nice session. And it's a valuable information to receive from you. And one more thing I want to tell you, one of our project is selected in PSIC. Madam, madam, my voice good. Yeah, one of our project from Maharashtra Engineering College, it has been selected in Hyderabad district.
Very nice. Very nice.
It
Oh, this
is
is
not,
what is the innovation?
yeah, Injinta innovation.
Correct. No, what is the idea? Which
Idea
idea?
is that is the stacking of the rice bags in a godown.
Oh, okay. Very nice. Interesting.
Yeah, one of our third year students they have posted.
Oh, I think, yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that. Right. Very nice. Great. Students, I think there are few students who are a part of the session. Guys, do you have any questions?
Yeah, students, please clear your doubts if you have any doubts regarding PSIC.
Not necessarily doubts. If you want to speak or tell anything, feel free to do
Yeah,
that.
Yes, ma'am. I'm from
Yeah.
Machichi College, and the project which sir is speaking, uh, it is my project, and
Oh,
it
nice.
has
What's
been.
your name?
My name is K. Chandrasekhar Rao.
Chandrasekhar Rao. Oh, okay.
Yes,
Very
ma'am.
nice.
How much? I mean, uh, how can I expect that what I am getting from the TC? I mean, TCS.
Yes, I see.
Like,
Okay. So, okay, I'll tell you what are the next steps that we are planning to do. So, once we scout the innovators, we organize one either exhibition or we map innovations to a few incubators that we work with. They evaluate these ideas. If they see there is definitely a potential to scale these ideas, they provide some kind of a mentorship. They provide some kind of a support in the form of, could be funding sometime. So that's what they do. They'll help you build this further. We will reach out to you for sure, maybe in a couple of days, because we recently concluded we are in the time where we are all collating every idea and then seeing how we can support each one of them. It'll take some time, but for sure we'll come back to you.
yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. So you are the KCR of Matushri, is it?
Not like
Yeah,
that.
KCR.
Very nice. I know. Thank you. Right.
So in how many districts they have participated
All
all
36 districts.
each districts how many projects you have selected now?
So average we have five average. We see average five at least minimum five we have in each district.
From Hyderabad district around
20.
20.
No, we had 20 from Hyderabad. That Hyderabad is highest. Second highest is Yadadri, which has 11, I guess.
Very nice.
Good morning, ma'am.
Hi, Siddharth. Hi, I know. I think I know you.
Yes, ma'am. It was a nice session, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Siddharth.
Thank you.
So I think we are working with his father on his idea. We are figuring out how we can help him on that. So there is some potential for sure in that idea.
Thank you.
Thank you, Siddharth.
He is also our students, but
Yeah, he mentioned. Yeah, he mentioned it to me. Yeah.
yeah, you can clarify anybody, any students, please.
If no questions, I would like to push myself. I have another meeting at 11:30.
Yeah, 1 year, ma'am.
If you don't mind.
Ramya madam, please. Says a lot of thanks to ma'am.
Good afternoon all. This is Ramya from IT department. I, on behalf of Matrasri Engineering College and my entire staff, let me call it as a fraternity of knowledge sharing here together. And on my own behalf, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to Sri Ms. Ani Vijaya ma'am for gracing your knowledge and sharing with us here your findings and opinions today. Thank you once again, ma'am. Thank you so much. I also thank my college management for making this guest lecture happen today. Thank you, Wanda. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Digaru. Yeah.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Prashant, sir. Thank you, all the students those who are participated in this event. Now,
సార్
Jeff
సార్
Siddharth.
ఇది గ్రూప్ లో ఇంటర్న్షిప్ పెట్టారు కదా సార్
Ah,
లైక్ అది ఓన్లీ లైక్ ఈసీఏ వాళ్ళకి